All right, I'm trying out this light, but sure enough, it's blinding me for sure. All right, so 1 second while I close the door and set up so I can record. Okay, so let's see here. Explore. I just gotta make sure I turn this down so I can see you guys. So I was working on a track. This is where I'm at right now. So let's talk about this track a little bit. I do find it better. I previously mentioned this to put your, especially if you're new to this and you're trying to make something where you can actually keep track of what you're doing, put each part on separate tracks, particularly the drums separated, mean a lot to me because I'm actually playing in parts versus just randomly putting in something. So I know it doesn't look like that, but this track scale, that's like that's like A1, if, in my opinion. Okay, and so this is where I went in. So time stretch is obviously not in this device, but what's cool is being able to go in and use Koala, right? Just use Koala, time stretch the sample you want, and you can use Ableton or whatever you have, and then just record it in to a drum track. And now you have this, right, on a drum track, and then just add it into your track. Now, I was gonna mess with the multi-sampler, so I'm gonna try it on live just to see. I don't really have an instrument to multi-sample into right now. I'll have to get something on the computer and send it, and I just hit my camera, so apologies for that. So to do a multi-sample, I'm gonna have to get the computer here, open up an instrument, maybe via Ableton Live, so I could at least see where in the world is coming from. So 1 second while Ableton opens up. There we go. Now I have Ableton open. Let's see. Of course, my dog will start barking right now. Let's turn on the key here and oh boy, that's not what we want. Okay, so before we do that, then I guess what we're gonna have to do is adjust the loop back situation here because I have it loop back to external, but I'm gonna turn the headphone off. And we don't want the OP. Let's see. That ain't it. So it's picking up the microphone. Rid of this Bluetooth to make sure I'm not hearing the Bluetooth or something. It's picking up my microphone, I think, from the computer. That's where it's giving that feedback, I believe. All right, cool. I think that should be it now. Yeah. Sorry, my microphone on my computer was on and so it was doing that. So if you're dropping in, I don't see who's in or not in because I'm obviously recording. Looks like there's like 3 people in. So I'm still new. Okay, so for those that don't know, I'm new to um, the O. I've had the OP1 field, I've had the OP1, and I've had the pocket operator, PO33, and the KO. My daughter's hammering something right now, and the KO 133. But I never had the OPZ, so a lot of people that had the OPZ say there's some familiarity. I think I said that right. Hold on 1 second. Hey Zoe, I'm recording. Can you not hammer? Back to you. Okay, sorry, I was just trying to get my daughter to stop hammering so you don't have to hear that. Okay, back to, and then of course the dog will start barking. Back to recording. So, sampling, we're gonna try it again. This time we should have a little more success because we don't have. So I haven't tried this yet, guys. I'm like really never tried this at all. So I'm seeing what we can do. So first of all, I need to know where in the world C is because I'm not playing on the keyboard. Let me see. I should better do it with a keyboard. It'll be easier. There we go. At least I know what I'm playing, right? Okay, so let's go here. And then we'll hold this down. And then what do we do? Every step or every 2 steps? 3 steps? What? 1, 2, 3. What note is this? E. Then, see, I don't know how this works, so I'm just guessing. Well, let's do an F. Do a G. I'll be honest, I wish they would just let this do, like plug it in, hook it up to an instrument, and just let us do it, let it automatically do it properly so that you get the proper length of these things, because I have no clue. See how different they look? Let's do an A, I guess. I thought about using Logic too to do this because then you would. Let's go back and do. Yeah, I don't know. They're all different. Ooh, multi-sample is very difficult for me to wrap my mind around. Let me see what everybody's saying in the chat because I don't have it in front of me. Yeah, this is not a fun experience for trying to make an instrument. I'm definitely not going to be doing that. If it's even reading velocity or what it's doing, but yeah, that's not fun at all. So, well, let's clear it out. Why not? I think I got them all cleared out. So yeah, I won't be doing that. Okay, so if you got questions, just drop them in the chat and I'll try to answer them or at least show you. Boy, this thing. Mixer. All right, so that's what I got so far. So a one-shot sample is actually easier to do. Oops. Go here. That was multi, but the one shot is much easier, right? Just to go into there and then just sample on the C and you're done. And then pull it across the keys. And then you go here and you can find different. One of the things I don't care for is most. So I played all those instruments in. Besides the drums, obviously I drummed those in, but I mean the rest of it is all played in. But I was thinking about what I was gonna do with the last tracks. I haven't done anything with those, but this thing is not like people are talking down because of the price, I think. But if they had it in their hands, they would see it's actually pretty premium quality. The keys feel really good to me. And you can hook a MIDI controller to it and play if you. I'm gonna do that for you guys live. Why not? Give me 1 second while I adjust this cable here so you can. It will power. It will power the a MIDI controller. Does have Bluetooth, but I'm not messing with the Bluetooth because it's a little bit. Certain keyboards work good with it. I know the X-Key Air works really well with it, but I couldn't get the Bluetooth dongle I had. It recognized it, but it wasn't working as fluid, is what I'm trying to say. But if you haven't figured out, tonality works with it really well. I can do like chords and stuff. I'll show you guys that if you haven't seen that yet. So you need to do that. You need to have obviously iPhone or iPad, either one. And there's a app called MIDI Mitter. And in here, if you go calm, right, and you hit this button here, just click it in. It'll look for it and see how, I don't know if you can see here how fast it found it. It's connected. Now you want to turn it on here. Here, open up tonality. I'm going to bring tonality out, open. Go into the tonality settings, sound, MIDI, turn on the Bluetooth. And it's controlling this, right? So let me put it on something that makes more sense, like a piano. So I'm gonna put this off to the side because we don't need to see it right here. Is anybody in here with me? I got three people because one of the persons is myself. Okay, so I'm gonna stop that there. For some reason it's getting off track here. Let's go see what's going on. I'm gonna mute 7 and 8. Mutes are pretty easy on here too. It's just touch them, hold the shit or the track button down, and then just mute them. But it's crazy because I can do that and still hear it, but the track's actually muted. Let's do this. Let's go shift, load, because now it's getting off. I think I'm accidentally turning the changing something inside of here by mistake. Not sure why it's doing that. Weird. Shift load. I'm gonna load it again and see why it's doing that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, you're acting weird. For some reason, this plugged in was tweaking it or something. So I just turned it off. All right, let's put. Let's do a new track. Let's just save this where it is. Save. And then we'll go new track. Boom. All right, so we're in a new track. And I'll do it from scratch. That way you can kind of get an idea of the workflow. There's so many ways to do a workflow. So what I'm doing is nothing, you know. I don't start with drums all the time, but since we're on here, we might as well. And I'm going to use. So if I'm bringing in drums, you could obviously put them on the via the USB, or you could just go in and record some in. So let's use this right here. I'm just grabbing a cable so that I can record them in for you. So let's go here, turn the MIDI emitter off, and we're just gonna go into Koala. It'll be easier to do it this way, and then just grab the samples that we want by importing them in. So I'm gonna grab, let's use this chill hop. We'll grab a rim. Oh, to hear it. So we're gonna first, before I do that, let's remove all the samples on this drum track. So we're gonna go clear. I'm just gonna touch each one and clear them. Now I have a clear drum track. All right. So now I'm gonna go grab those samples. I'm gonna load them in the Koala first just so I can keep track of which ones I choose. So I'm just picking, there we go, that'll be the rim. We'll go grab a kick. We'll take that one, it's fine. Put them all on one shot just so they, and then we'll grab a hi-hat. You don't have to do it this way. Again, I'm just showing you. I like that one. We'll take it. There it is. All right, so now I'm just gonna put this down in front. All right, and we'll sample in just what we need, right? So we're already at the sample. We're on this knot. You just hit record, done. You want to put the snare maybe here, because I don't like putting them up here unless I have to. So I'm gonna put the snare here, hold record, done. Want to put the hi-hat in, hold record, done. Then you could go into them, each one. It does a good job of finding the transient at the beginning. If it's too loud, hold shift, turn it down. Okay. I told you I like putting them on different ones, but I'll show you how you could do it on the same one. You could just record it in. You could set the bar count where you want it first. By going in, and you could also do the track scale. So track scale is down here. So let's say I wanted one bar to actually be 2 bars. Then I just do that, and now it's 2 bars. You could turn your quantize off if you don't want it on by just doing that. And then you can set the groove if you want. I'm not gonna set a groove yet. I'm just gonna play it in and see what we come up with. So I'm gonna do the kick snare first, and then I'll do the hi-hat. I don't wanna do them all together. So if you hit record and play, now it's arm ready. All right, so I messed up because I'm playing in 120. I forgot to set the BPM. It's usually a good thing. So let's just take all this off. No big deal. You can tap the tempo in. So let's go 70. Let's do 75. That's fine. You can turn the metronome off if you don't want it, but I'm going to leave it on for now. Some people don't want it, but if you're playing in, it might be good to have it in. So my timing is whack right there, right? Shift, undo. Shift and record, undo what you did, so you don't have to sit there and do all of what I did before. So it's pretty quick. SimCity, what's good? So I'm playing in halftime of 75, which is not good. Shift, undo. I'm going to crank this thing up. I thought I set the bar length to scale at 2. I did. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? Yeah, we'll scale it to. Actually, you know what? Let's change that. Let's go with, no, we'll leave it at 2, whatever. I just need to play faster. I guess I'm gonna crank this up to 85. So here we go. I'm messing up. So the only thing I don't like, or not the only thing, but one thing I don't like is shift undo will not undo the last thing you did. It will literally undo, if you're still in record, it's gonna undo all of it, right? So you just have to remember that. If you want to program it though, you could go in here and program the drums in. And if you hold a note down, you could nudge it, right? So you could do this. Well, you got to get out of this stupid metronome. Hold on. Hold a note down, and you can nudge it. I'm gonna nudge this one forward. Put that one back. I'm gonna nudge these forward. Just a little bit. Slightly off, just slightly off of it. All right, so when you want to record, hold it down. Also, another way to record, like let's say you're on the same track. I'm just showing you on the same track. You could play it in, but let's say you wanted to program the hats in. So hold the button down, hit this. Now you see just the hat track or hat portion. So you could do this and go, just plug them in like this, right? Then you could put swing on that track by using the groove. I turned the quantize off. You could leave the quantize on if you wanted to. Yeah, I like playing my hats without quantize too. But I'm just showing you options. Someone left the bathroom tap water. Oh, if you want to turn the metronome off, just click it off. So I'm just showing you different ways that you don't have, again, how you choose to do it. If you hit this button right here, you can clear notes, hold it down, and it clears all the notes. So I'm just showing you just how it kind of functions, and then you can go in and do all the other stuff and learn it if you decide to go this route, right? Just learn. It's good to learn it. Even if you don't ever want to buy it, that's cool. You don't have to buy it. Just at least you can say you know how it kind of works, right? So I'm gonna set it just back to one track. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I personally want to do it. Now, what's cool, they added in the feature where you can copy. So let's say you built this drum, you like it, you hit here and save. You need to save it, and it's going to save there. Then hit this in the button, and now you can rename it. So we're going to rename it to, they made everything lowercase too, so you can't distinguish anything really. And this is hard to see, I must admit. Next, and you just go into the next part. Oops, I'm messing up there. Go back. So I was just gonna put like something simple like hip hop drums, just so you can get the naming process. I know it's really hard for anybody else to see because it's hard for me to see, and I'm looking right at it. All right, and then these, I'm gonna put number signs since they let you do it. And then we'll put 1, and then these we'll get rid of. So with this part here, save you some time, just go delete, delete, delete. And then say, okay, it's gonna take a second, and then it's gonna populate that it's in there. Should be there now. There you go at the top. And now what you can do is you can go here, hold it down, go copy, click this one, hold it down, paste. Click this one. Before I do, once these are already drum tracks, one of the things I noticed is that if you don't change it to a drum track, sometimes it's a little off because it was thinking it was something else. So now you can hold it down, hit paste, and you get your sound should be the same. As long as it's a drum track on the track. The first two come automatically with a drum track. So with 2 drum tracks, you got 1, 2 drum tracks. But I like to have 3, maybe even 4 when I put my percussion on something. So this 4th one may be a drum track 2. And if that's the case, then you just go ahead and change it to whatever you want to. But anyway, all right. So the way I like to work is I want my kicks on 1 by themselves. I will turn the scale. Usually on the kick, I might turn the scale to. Oh, by the way, you do the scale here. Tripping. Like 2. You can do more if you want. On the snare track, I'm gonna leave it at 1, and I'm gonna leave those quantized. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjust it. I'll show you. Just nudging the notes is what I'll do. So I already know on the 2 track that I'm putting the snares there. That's the snares, right? They don't have to be the same length, by the way. They can be different lengths. That's what's cool about it. And if you ever use Drombo, it's very much like Drombo in that way. Um, so if you touch this note now here, you could nudge it. So let's go ahead and nudge it. I want this one to be a little bit ahead. So about right there, that's fine. And then with the hi-hats, we'll play them in. And this will be the hi-hat track. And what we'll do on the hi-hats is turn quantize off. And then we'll fix the groove afterwards. And I'm gonna turn the scale to 4. Yeah, so now it's like I put 4 bars in 1 bar. This just consolidates and gives you more room. So you can have up to 16 bars technically in 1 bar, which means that you could have, what is that, 32, 64, if I'm not mistaken, 64 bars in 4 bars. You just, and you'll see that in a second, I'll show you. So remember, this is only on 2 bars, so, oh, wrong one, hold on. There, now it should be right. And then you still gotta, I'm gonna nudge it. It keeps the nudge though there already that you got. So we'll do that. All right, so Why does it keep doing this? There. There we go. So I'm gonna start with that, and I'm gonna leave the metronome off. I'll need the metronome, but I don't. I guess if you do the kicks first, and then you can figure out your part on there if you don't want it. Okay, so we're on this track, but now we're gonna go back to track 1. All right, I'm gonna hit this. Ready? Oh, that was bad. So, but do you see how oops. You see how the for other track is only set to 1 bar, so it's playing it twice. Because this track is set to 2, scale to 2, right? I'm trying to say the right words, but scale to 2. So I'm gonna turn the metronome on for myself just for now, just to record in the kicks. But it arms it, and then it starts when I hit it. Right. Then if I go to the 3rd track, stop. So this is already messing up. So I don't understand. Sometimes it does that. So I have to go in and do this. And you see it's still not. That's one of the things that's confusing me. Because it's putting it down an octave. That's all it's doing. So sometimes because they load stuff in here already, preloaded in, I have to remember to go back and do this. I kind of wish they would not preload it in. You could build a template. I saw somebody do that, but I wish they kind of wouldn't preload and just let me put whatever I want, because it annoys me that I have to remember little things like, oh, I got to go fix this because this is pitched up or pitched down or something like that. So, all right, so now I can do the hats. All right, I didn't record that. So I did this one to 4 bars, so let me see how I want to do them. So that was 4 bars technically in 1 bar. You can go back and add the step components too to tweak it. Can you play chords like in drum? Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can play chords, of course. I'll get there. I'm working on I'm building a track, just a basic track to show you. Let me turn this off. So I can use tonality with this, and that's what I was showing earlier, that you can use tonality, or I can play them in. It's up to me. I could plug in this keyboard and play in the chords on this keyboard. That last note sounds a little off. That's okay. So now you can set the groove. There's different grooves inside of here if you want to use this. Or you can do a groove, like you can set the percentage of how much groove you want. And it's dope because they show you the MIDI notes right there. All right, so let's go into an instrument. So if you go shift here, you can look at the preset you're under. This is a pluck type instrument. If you want keys, you can go to keys. That's the pitch wheel. So I mostly use that for leads. But you could use a MIDI controller, or you could use like your iPad or your iPhone and play Are you guys back? Are you guys back? Let me see. Are we back? Everybody's there? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Or did it quit on us again? I think we're good. Can somebody give me a thumbs up in the chat? Just let me know if you're still there, if we're still active, or am I the only one in here? I see 5 in here. It's back. Okay, cool. I don't know what that was YouTube doing. Let me answer your question. Can you play chords on like drum? I answered that. Yeah, you can see on the beat first. Okay. How many effects per track, if at all, are they just global? So there's 2 effects. Well, technically, let me rephrase that. There's 2 effects that are global. Technically, I don't know if you want to call them global, but if you go into here, can you guys see this? And you hit shift, not there, I'm sorry. You go into this LFO, which by the way is on off, and you can have, there's 2 send effects, and then there's a tape track. So that tape track is unique in its own little way. And then you can do send for external stuff too, but you can set up, technically there's 2 that here. They only have about 5 effects on here. And then on the master channel, there is a saturator, a compressor, and yeah, saturator and compressor. Otherwise, it's set up with reverb and delay as your primary. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan. The reverb is okay. The delay is okay. I love the saturation and I love the compressor. To me, those are the best 2 things, and they're on the master, so you can use them or not use them, however you want to do it. So that's that. But I was going to show you, is this the OP one field that you can go into here, right? And then I'm just using this as an example. You can use any keyboard you want, but keyboard. Oops. I'm trying to keep this where you guys can see it. So we're on track number 4. So you can use this keyboard as your keyboard if you don't. Or you could get tonality open like I showed before. I'm going to do it this way so you can see it. And record, like you guys call it, the sexy chords. You can get your sexy chords on. So let's record some sexy chords, whatever. I'm just saying that because that's what people always say. You read. So I only did 1 bar. It's probably not the best way to record it. So let's stop it. Let's add some more to this. We'll scale it to be 4 chords or 4 bars or whatever, not 4 chords. So down here, when you hit the button over here, the bar button, set it to 4. And now 1 bar is going to be 4 chords. So, or 4 bars. Now I keep saying chords because I'm going that way. All right, arm it. Done. So that track is set, right? Then I could go here. Shift there, find a lead. Also, check this out. So let's see, what key are we in here? I don't even know. We're in B flat. All right, so watch this. I'm gonna stop it. So we just played some chords and let's see if it got it right. So we're gonna go here. So it's saying A So it's wrong. But you can turn it to manual and actually set the key. So if you know you're playing in B, like in this case, I'm playing in B flat, which is also A sharp. So it was kind of close. So this is A sharp major. Now you know what chords you're in, and you can, see your scale right there. So you just know what to play, right? So you got your scale in front of you. You can switch. It's pretty cool that it intelligently knows where to go. All right, so I'm gonna get out of that effect because you do have other effects. You have you have 24. You have step components right here. There's these, right? Then there's 24 of the punching effects. So there's 24 punching effects, which is different from these two up here, or these two slots you have for um, effects, right? If that makes sense. So punching effects when the track's playing. Go here, punching effects. So that's your punching effects. I showed you the chords. Now you could go ahead and play that melody you wanted to if you learned the chords, right? Because it wasn't that hard to remember. This is your, right? So you got to make sure you leave it in the scale you're in, which is the A major. Okay, then we'll come out of that. We know we memorized this, right? Which steps it is. Go back to track, are we here? Or so I just was showing you guys that you can use other keyboards, you can use whatever you want to play the songs in. All right. Techno Drone 313. Why is that thing over two? Okay, I'm not discussing prices with you guys. Listen, I don't own the company. All I do is like the device, or I don't like it, right? Price is subjective because I don't know what it costs in that country to make this stuff, okay? In Sweden, I think they're in Sweden. So I don't know the answer to that. The answer is it costs to live. It costs a lot of money for gas. It costs a lot of money to own a house. It costs a lot of money to own a car. It just depends on what you want. If you don't, the way I look at it is, if you ever, I grew up mostly in the late 80s, early 90s. So buying an instrument back then was a fortune. This is cheap compared to what this would have cost back then to do something like this. You'd have been paying $4,000 or $5,000. So it is a multi-sampler synth. It is a synthesizer, and it is a highly sophisticated, in my opinion, groove box that has step components and everything else. Now you can go get Electron stuff, and their Digitac, I believe. 2 is about $1,000. It does not have polyphony. You have to spread polyphony across 4 or 5 tracks to make a chord. And it doesn't do chopping, though this one hasn't got chopping yet. I'm sure they'll add it, but it's $1,000. So to get what this has, you would need the Digitac, Digitac, and you would need a Digitone. That's $2,000. It's the same price basically. So, and this one's got a 16-hour battery. That one doesn't have a battery. This one has the AI brain that allows you to transpose chords. That one doesn't have that. So there's features that this has that doesn't have. There's another feature I like. If you hold the track down, hit Scrabble. Scrabble will scramble all the sounds in here. and create a new preset. So it just, so endless presets. You don't like dissolve or something, you want to get a different, let's say you want to get this E piano here. Hit this, scramble that. You can keep making presets all day long. So again, what something is worth is in the eye of the beholder. If you can't afford it, I totally get that. It's very expensive. I totally understand that. It's an expensive tool. Do you need it? No. Do we like it? Yes. So need and like and all that is totally different. I mean, it's cool, but Fruity Loops has 1,000. Okay, yeah, but Fruity Loops is a DAW. So Technodrome, why are you worried about it then? Just use what you have. If you got Fruity Loops and it works for you, just use it. Don't even worry about getting one. I don't think complaining about it or anything like that is going to get you anywhere. It's not going to make it get cheaper all of a sudden because you think something else is better. Just use what you have that's better. All right, Meerkat, let's see. So your timeline is basically red lights above the gray keys when, yes. So this is your 1 bar, which can of course be up to 64 bars because you can change all that with the scale count. This is your bars. These are your tracks. These are your effects and different things you can change. Each one has multiple things going on. So you got a gyro, what do they call it? Gyrophone thing where you can turn and play it like that. So, I don't really do that kind of stuff yet, or at least I haven't got that far yet, but you can change it, to different speeds, whatever you want to do. And best of all, that Scrabble button is like unlimited presets for each instrument, and you can do that on your drums too, which is cool. All right. Have you tried exporting yet? Can you export a full song? So I don't think they do export an individual stems. They do that on the if unless you have like their other device. I think it's the TX7 or the TX6 that can separate the channels. I don't think this one does that, but there is ways to get it out. I mean, if you just want to get stuff out of here, just record it out to something. Because here's the thing: if you're using punch-in effects, though the punch-in effects have their own little spot for them, right? I think it would be they're gonna have to come up with a mastermind way, and this may come down the road, but trying to figure out how they're going to get punch-in effects out of here with the timing. Because here's a song playing, right? So if I go into here and start, hold on, go back to here. Here. So there's a lot going on that you're doing that I don't know how in the world they would do that because you're not just recording a track. You have clips, but you also have all these components that are happening. And so I don't know how they would do that. I mean, I'm sure they're going to figure something out for it. I'm sure they've thought about it. Yeah, the gyro, is it pronounced gyro or gyroscope? Yeah. So that exists with inside of let me go back to the track. Right here. So it's in here. You can literally change it. Hold on, let me see. This is the speed. Let me see if I can figure out if I have to change the filter. Synth, free. There we go. Punch, tone. Wait. Speed. Is it free or filter? Attack, decay, sustain. So these are what you can affect over here. Okay. Cool. I get it. You don't see it. It's probably not for you, Technodrome. It's okay. Not every device is for every person. And I have Ableton. I use it all the time. I make tons of songs on it. But I still like this because it's a different workflow. It's different. People get things for different reasons. Sometimes it's the workflow. So do the punching effects work on line recordings out, not I assume? I'm not sure. Okay, so the punching effects can work on anything because you can use them on audio stuff. You can use them on, I mean, it's MIDI. It is MIDI in here, obviously. But are you saying, can I use the punching effects on something else playing, like as an effects processor? Is that what you're asking? I mean, if that's what you're asking, the answer is yes, because this is a MIDI tool. So you can run this out and control hardware. So because you can control hardware with it, the punching effects work on other stuff, on hardware. I think that's what you're asking, but I'm not 100% sure. They do work on other hardware. So check this out. I can't do it because I don't have any other hardware, right? I only have this. But you see right here how the MIDI control and the devices here, I don't think you guys can see this. It's kind of hard. But if you look right over here, hold on. You can sync it with other stuff. It has CV. It has audio out. So all of this works. Devices, this is because I hooked up this keyboard, right? So it recognized that keyboard. Here's your system settings. You can do the keyboard velocity, hard or soft, or however you want to do it. The MIDI in and out clock, and you can send it all out to other devices. That's just a regular clock. It's your calibration for the pitch bend, the battery life, and then some legal stuff. Okay. So yes, it can act as a controller. So I mean, obviously I could control anything with it, but I don't, the problem with here is I'd have to turn the volume up on this. Let me see. I can turn the volume. So you can go in here, these right here, and you can use this out. That's for the input. I'm trying to find the MIDI out. Right here. Here we go. MIDI out. And set it to channel 1. And I believe, are these samples on MIDI channel 1? Let me see. Settings, MIDI channel 1 should be able to play something here. I haven't messed with this much on the MIDI channels, but on bank 1, program 1, channel 1. I know I've seen somebody do it online, so I know you can do it. I just haven't really messed with it. But I'm not sure how. I'd have to go in and play with that a little more. I haven't really messed with that part enough to answer all those questions. But yeah, it does have MIDI out. So you can definitely do that. And on the side, there's in MIDI, right here's your MIDI and MIDI sync to go out. So you can Well, that was just crazy. I just dropped the mouse. So 1 second while I grab this. Mouse here. All right. Hold on a second. Let me put this here. All right. Cool. All right. So what's up, D0? Good to see you. Yeah. As far as Technodrone, I appreciate you stopping in. Just know every device is not for everybody. And unfortunately, it's not for you because you don't see it. So that's okay. You need to know what you need and don't need before you go buy. Don't buy anything if you don't really need it. D0 is good. All right, if you record out loud using the line audio out to say a DAW, will the DAW record that? Yes, of course. I assume so. Just going back. Yeah, I mean, I can show you that right now if you just want to know will it record. So let's get out of this MIDI, go back over to here. If I press on, right now I'm in here. So what we'll do is we'll just use a USB to go line in. I'm going to take it off import, go back to the mic. You can't hear it. Let me unplug this. Hold on. Turn the volume back up. So yeah, you can record out, of course. Yeah. And I mean, if you want to hear, like I could go just pressing buttons, right? Okay, so here it recorded that. If you want to hear it. So you can sample whatever you play out back into it. You can do any of that. And if you want punching effects, it's the same principle whether you're doing punching effects or not. I mean, it's the same thing. So, I mean, you go back to the track you're on, right? You want to, like, all right, here, this is playing, right? If I click here, it's going to record out. All right. So here it is. I'll turn this on so you... Now, if you want to do punching effects, it's the same thing. So you go back to the track. Let's say you're just playing your track. Hold on. Let me record here. All right. Turn the punching effects on. Using punching effects. So then you go here, just so you can hear it. I mean, it's a synthesizer, guys. So it's like, for those that don't know, it's a legit synthesizer. So, I mean, it does multi-sampling and it has synths, and you can record in and build your own one-shot synth. And then you have, so I mean, a lot of this stuff you could, when people say, well, you could use a DAW, of course, we already know that. Nobody buys gear thinking they can use a DAW. They understand it's not meant to be that. So yeah, but everything records out, so it's not a problem. Punching effects, that is, yeah, so punching effects can be recorded out, of course. It has its own, if you look here on the mixer, if you hit the mixer twice, you'll see it has its own slot for punching effects. So you can play the punching effects, record them, and then remove them if you want to, if you didn't like them. So you can take them off. Any of these tracks can be open or removed. They have their own lane, and you're basically working with 16 because you have these. So like if I go in the tape, for instance, let's go to the tape. Wait, hold on. There you go. See the tape? So the tape has its own thing. You can slow it down. I think you can slow it down. Hold on. You can tell how much you want in the mix. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, you can tell the percentage. How fast you want it to slow it to 50. It's got it's got everything you need to do it. And then of course the brain going. Then of course you can mute. So it's pretty simple. That's why I said I like everything on separate tracks, because it's much easier to control the mutes and things. I mean, if you try to do everything on one, like all your drums, taking them in and out, you're not going to be able to do that. I mean, you can, I guess. I just don't know how, and it would probably be a lot more work. So I suggest if you're going to record, plus you only get, on each track, you only have one set of filters and envelopes. So if you're going to make any adjustments to, like, let's say to this kick, you can't, whatever you adjust on this one is going to adjust all of them the same way. So you might as well just put everything separate and save yourself the headache. Maybe they'll fix that later where you have more. But if I'm honest about it, I don't put my stuff all on one track anyway. I think that's kind of not cool. But all right, yeah, the battery on this thing is ridiculous. Yes, it is. 77 hours. Wait, what are you talking about? 77 hours. That's crazy. Yeah, no problem, Meerkat. Anytime. That's what I'm doing, just answering questions. So anybody has anything you want me to try, I'll definitely try it for you. That way at least you know, right? It's just about being educated about it, whether you want to buy the thing or not. What's good, DJ Emo? The battery is ridiculous. Yeah, the battery is ridiculous because I haven't charged it. Well, I guess it's charging now technically because I'm plugged into something that is drawn from, but I haven't really charged this thing. I just took it out the box and went to town on it. Started learning it. Let's see. That's another thing people forget. Yeah, battery life on. Man, I can't even get my iPhone to last that long to do music on, or the iPad. So when you look at something to make music on and the battery life is that good, and once they upgrade it with the chopping on it and stuff like that, they put all that in it, it's gonna be nuts. Then everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, I guess it is worth it." I'm telling you, it's to me, it's the best device they've made. Like I will not go back and buy the OP1 Field, partly because they never updated the sequencers in it, and they only left it at 4 tracks, and I don't really want a 4-track tape recorder. But this one with all these punching effects and the way it's the sequencing and stuff like that, it's for me, I can get a song done in this. Plus the arranger and the song mode. I mean, that song mode is super simple. All you're doing is just plugging in a number. So if you built, so this is all on one. But if you had another one, like let's say you went new and now you got a 2. Let's say you only want 2 to not play the drums. So now track 2, then you go into your song mode and you put 1. I'm sorry, down here, 1 and then 2. So you use these to plug in what you want, and then it plays from the 1, and you'll see the 2 won't have the drums. Well, it didn't do it that time. Hold on. 2 should be without the drums. I don't know why I did that with the drums. Yeah, that should be 2. Okay, so 2. So it's calling this 1. Nope. Okay, I messed up. That's a user error. I'm gonna delete this 1. All right, so there's one, right? Let me go into the song mode and delete this. All right, we cleared them all. So when it's all clear, it's there. So now you gotta set. I always get this mixed up though. You gotta set for the next part. So this has to be 2. So I don't know why. I gotta figure out if I have to make copies of everything to make it 2. I didn't think you do, but I might be confusing that. All right, so let's say you go a new one, then you go over to the next track and you say you want copy, paste. So you're gonna have that. Next track, copy, paste. And then the next track, copy, paste. And then what we'll do is we'll go back to 3 because that's drums and just get rid of that one actually. There, and then just go new because you want it blank. I'm just doing it so it can be blank. That's all. Okay, so track 2, we'll leave the snare going and we'll just call it that for part 2. 3, and then we'll shift that up to 2, and then 4. We'll leave 4 playing that way. So now we should have part 2. So it'll play. I don't know why I'm not doing it right here, but it will play a second track. So when you go into here, you just punch in, okay, I want 1, and then I want 2. But see, it's not playing 2 because I don't know if I didn't create a part 2 or what I did there. Because it's calling that part 1. There we go. It did work this time. Not confuse you as much as I just confused you. All right, so that's pretty simple. Let's see what else. I missed questions. What's good, my fellow? Hope your transients are treating you well. Yep. Yep. Frequency slaves. Yep. What's the sample limit time? 20 is 20 seconds per key. So 20 seconds per key. So in other words, like if I wanted to, what, nothing on 5. Let's go to 1. Let's go back to the here. And on 5, we'll put a drum track. So you could have over 24 of the, there's a 24, right? So you could have 24 samples with 20 seconds apiece. And then let's go. And then what we'll do is we'll load in snapshot of, this is one of the things I want them to fix because all this like having to go down to here, like through here, so many folders, and I don't know which part is what. Like if I want a pad, I want my pads to all be in the same place. And it's funny because they do it for their sample, but don't do it for the other one. So it's a shaker, I think is what I called it. I'm just trying to find a sample because otherwise I'd have to go sample something in. All right, here we go. So on 5, so here's an example of just bringing in a shape. I time stretched this little loop in here, and then I just recorded it directly in. All right, so then I could just put it here, touch there. It's off because it's not the right time. So you got to time stretch it to the, that's the only thing they don't have is time stretching, which would be nice. But like I said, if you just bring the sample in, so I'm going to record it into here. That's fine. And then if you go to the BPM and you know it's 85, just set this for 85. Like so, boom. Go into your sample. I'm going to have to do this so you can hear it. All right, so I'm going to call, I think this would be a bar right here. Crop it and then stretch it. So now you have a bar, right? Perfect bar loop. Then go back in here and we're going to record. We're going to delete this sample that's in here. We're going to go clear. All you got to do is go clear, select the one you want, hold down record, press it. That's it. So then it's there. Done. Now, if you go back here, you can see the sample and you can adjust the volume if you want it louder. And it's time stretched to what you have, so it should work. Perfect, see? So time stretch, just use Koala. I use my phone and do it because it's quick. Keep your little short cable like a foot. This is like, I think, a foot long in your case, wherever you're gonna do, and then keep your phone, which you're gonna have on you anyway. Open up Koala, time stretch whatever you want to sample in, and just drop it in, and then you could just play it. And with the multi-track, you could drop a whole 20-second sample in, copy it multiple times across it, and then just start chopping inside of here if you want to. Or you could chop inside of Koala because it's fast. Time stretch, chop in Koala, and then just record the parts into a drum sampler, and then you have it. And you don't even have to chop in this thing until maybe they add the chopping feature. All right, so that's pretty good. They put a fix update on the firmware, I see. Oh, did they put another update? Oh, okay, today. I have to go check that out. I didn't know that. DJ Emo, BJam, have you DJ'd in the past? But yes. No scratching though, just DJing like weddings and anniversaries. If so, get a turntable dialed in for some wiggles and scribbles. I do have records and things like that. I do have a record player. It's a portable record player, which has a battery in it, by the way. So I use that just to listen to. I listen to music when I'm working on vinyl sometimes. But yeah, I do have vinyl. But I'm assuming the total time to charge is probably similar to the field, which is about 2 hours from 10%. That might be true, D0. I haven't really ran it down that low yet, so I don't know yet. Good question though. Okay, cheers. Does it do multi-track MIDI out over USB-C for sending the external to external gear? Okay, so what I know is that it does do multi-track with their TX6, I believe it is, and TX7. I think you can do multi-track with those. But I've never, I would have to ask somebody like Echo Opera on that one because he has had it longer than me and I don't know. I only had it less than a day. Like I got it yesterday around maybe, what was it? Like 3:45, 4 o'clock Pacific time. So I haven't even had it a full day. I'm going on a full day in about another hour and 45 minutes or hour and 30 minutes. So I haven't even had a full day. So I can't answer all those questions, but if it's something about the device, I mean, like those are really deeper questions, but if it's something about the basic questions, I'll tell you what I do like. This dang arpeggio, and I might say that wrong too, is pretty cool. And I'm not usually into these things. And then if you don't like the arpeggio, you can shift. I'm sorry, not the shift. Arpeggio, you can shift here. And you got Maestro. Maestro is pretty cool. But, I'm confused on Maestro a little bit, if I'm honest about it, because it changes the sound. So listen. what? So I'm a bit confused on what it's doing because I thought it was just so you could like plug cords in, but for some reason it does all that extra weird. So I don't know what it's doing if I'm honest. I'll have to read more into that. I don't know that one yet. But the arpeggio is pretty cool. What's up, Ali Star? Have you tried a Studio Lazy Chop? Have you tried a pseudo Lazy Chop? I don't know why I said studio. Brain went to studio. No, I have not. I don't know as much chopping as you do, D0. You have to tell me something maybe in Discord. Let me know what you mean by pseudo chop, because I'm not. If you mean micro chop, is that what you're talking about? Like micro chopping? Oops. The only thing I usually do when I chop is just basic chopping, and I use a lot of times I'm using Serato sampler to chop just because it helps me kind of locate the chops. Blue Moon Productions, what's up? What's good? I got it yesterday. I'm in about an hour and 30 minutes. I'll be approaching 1 day of having it. Yeah, hit me on the side to zero with that question. Only because I don't really do a lot of chopping, so you have to break me down for me, like simpler, like what you mean by it. Just crop on sample record, or does it have ADSR fade, etc.? Okay, yeah. So good question, Meerkat. I'll do that right now. So on the initial you record in, if you're recording to a drum track, so this one's on a drum track. You can pitch it and you can loop it and you can, put it on a choke group, all that stuff. That's in a drum sampler, right? But you can adjust like this, the end point and the start point, which I'm doing right there, but you can't fade it on a drum track. So I think that's the reason why people like DiBiase is using, oops, go back. Why everybody's using a multi-sample, because in multi-sample you can do all that fading and all the other stuff. Also on drum tracks, you pretty much only get one filter, right? You only get one ADSR, and so everything on that particular track falls under that one ADSR. So I'm not sure why they made it that way. It would have been better if every time you touch a different sample, you get a different ADSR. But watch, if I adjust it here, I'm just gonna do something stupid. And I go to the next sample, it's the same ADSR. So I'm not sure why they chose to do that. It would be better if they just go back and make each one of these 24 have its own little LFI. I think they'll fix that because too many people have said something about that. So, yeah, so we'll see. I do think the mixer is really nice. So you have a left-right that you can adjust, and then this one is your pan, and then this one allows you to lower the volume. But you could, well, that's your mute. Hold on. You could go back to this and go shift and lower the volume here. Right? Turn on this. Filter it. Although I don't really see a need to use the filter. And then they have 5 different filters. So ladder, high pass, low pass, Z low pass, Z high pass, SF, SVF, and ladder. They say 5. Here's another one. I don't know where it's at, but it's okay. I'm just gonna turn that off because I'm not gonna be using that on the drums most of the time, but so I'll tell you my disappointment is on my biggest disappointment outside of the chopping is that they didn't put, in my opinion, enough thought into how they were going to um, get this to be able to sequence out stuff. I think they could have spent a little more time on that before they released it because of course, they needed to get it in people's hands. But yeah, I mean, you're pretty much tethered to mute. I mean, you think about using the P6. It's the same principle. If you get on the P6, you're gonna have to play your stuff out. There's no um, stemming out, right? But with this device, is as expensive as it is, and I usually don't talk about the price, you still they need to come up with a way, a solution, make an app or something that allows you to get your stems out of it, and they could easily do that. So all right, so All Star, I'm going to hit you up on the yeah. The Osmos is sounds pretty cool from what I've heard. MIDI in the Bluetooth and via Bluetooth, I believe, is limited. MIDI and via Bluetooth. When you say limited, what do you mean? You mean like because you can, I mean, you can hook a device up. I just did that with uh tonality, right? I gotta open MIDI Mitter back up because I think I got turned it off. But yeah, you can play chords into it via Bluetooth. I plugged it in to play it, but you can if you open up MIDI Mitter, let me go to it. Right here, Bluetooth. All you got to do is go back in here, click this button, it turns it on. There it is. Connect it, send it out or in. I'm going to do this. So I have it plugged in, so that's plugged in. This is without it plugged in. But I can show you without it. Here I can unplug that. So that's without it, right? And then we'll go back to here. I just used it to record chords in. That's where these chords came from. So I did. So yeah, you can record some chords in. And then put yourself a lead track. Go shift 1. Let's see. Let's go with. Let's see if we can find something in Dissolve. I'm lazy, so I'm just go find a lead. Let's do something different. Let's do the wavetable. I am not a sound designer, but so Scrabble is cool for me. Of course, if you don't want to do that, you could always go to your snapshots and use something that's already built for I bought like a few just to have some. So Bluetooth works fine. I haven't had any issues. So it's not. Oh, so it's not individual. MIDI and via Bluetooth is limited. Oh, yeah, it's all right. Oh, so it's not. I'm not sure what you mean individual D0. I wonder if that's perimeter lock. If that's perimeter lock. You mean the what? I don't know what you mean on that. I have to wait and see what you say. Okay, cheers, limited some ways. Yeah. So it is limited, like a machine. So like seems like a machine for if you have created the music already and perform it in certain ways. Yeah, okay. So that, yeah, Ali Star, you're right to some degree. There is a lot of it that is performance based. And I think that's because when the type of people that bought, and to me, and I'm saying this on a generic based on what I've seen, not what I know for sure. The type of people that bought into the OPZ were people who weren't necessarily musicians. They were just people who just like messing with noise, right? They weren't playing pianos and they don't have, that's why they put that AI brain in there because I'm like, you could just look at the scale and learn it. No, people don't want to learn, they just want to press a button. So yeah, in some ways they did make it for that. What's cool about it though is if you like the step sequencer vibe and you like the trigs and you like to be able to do all that kind of stuff, it's definitely a cool factor to it from that point of view. Is it going to impress me in 2 weeks? I don't know. I have to sit with it for a couple weeks before I know. In 2 weeks, I might think it's like, yeah, it's not nothing. But but like anybody, you need to kind of get it in your hands and feel it to see if it's, is it going to make you use it or not? That's the question. If you use a MIDI controller and it doesn't, yeah. Well, I just showed you that. I mean, you can. I did the same thing with Koala. It's the same thing. If I plug a MIDI controller, it'll do the same thing. Here, I'll plug it in just so you can see it. So I have this one plugged in. In order for you to see it, I'm gonna have to put this up here though. So it's the same. It's quicker, obviously, without using Bluetooth. I'm gonna unplug this. But you can Bluetooth stuff in. So imagine you're on the go and you don't want to take an iPad or you don't want to take um because I think honestly you could use like Drumbo if you wanted to, and you could do similar things to what this is doing. The only issue I have with Drumbo is I don't care for the way it perimeter locks stuff. I just I don't like it that much. And the MIDI in it annoys me sometimes. But other than that, I like Drumbo. Um, and Drumbo does have a way to produce the track out for you, which is different. Okay, cheers, showing the Bluetooth phone. Yeah, cool, man. The Meerkat, the Bluetooth's fine. I never had problems with the Bluetooth on the OP1 field either. It worked just good. What's your general opinion of the built-in instruments? Do they stand the test of time? Do you think they for multiple genres or are they weak? Okay, that's a good question. I think that question is probably one of the most valid questions to ask because I didn't like the OP1 Field. I like Dimensions, but other than Dimensions, I didn't like any of the other stuff there. So Axis is like, they're very synthy. I mean, if you don't like synth, then don't buy this at all if you don't like synth. But you can see, like, if I scramble it, I think they're all useful sounds. Mind you, I'm not even sound designing. I'm just or doing anything really major. I'm hitting this button and scramble. If I get something close to what I like, then I might adjust something. If you make ambient music, this thing is amazing. If you make cinematic music, it can be amazing. If you make 80s music, for sure. If you make EDM, IDM, house, I think you can do all of that in here pretty well. Hip hop is definitely something you can do in here. The only issue I have right now is that you need some sample chopping, proper sample chopping for it to be like authentically ready. So I'm hoping that in the next couple weeks, maybe they'll drop something with an update. We'll see. If it's 3 weeks, I'll wait 3 weeks to see. But yeah, did the sound go again? So you can't hear me? Okay. I didn't see a drop over here, so that's what I was wondering. Oh, the other instruments. You asked about the instruments. Dissolve, I think, is more pads, but it can get really weird too. Of course. So, I mean, you have all kinds of stuff there. Let's see. Go. You already know what drum is. E-piano is okay. All right, so multi-sampler is on here, so you'll never get old. It'll never get old in the sense of you can, once they fix the multi-sampler where it's like it's already fixed, but once they make it clear how to use it better, I think the multi-sampler kills the thing of whether you like all of the synths in here. I don't think any synthesizer, there's synthesizers like that get old, and that's depending on the style of music you make, but where the fact that you can multi-sample in here automatically means um you can bring any sound you want, and you're not limited because this thing could be a controller for something else too. So you don't have to just stay in here with these. You can do other stuff. You can resample something back into here, create a loop. You can, I mean, there's ways around it. It just depends on what you want to, the workflow you want. Sounds going back now. Is 80 SR lockable per step? Lockable per step. I know you can use the filters or you can do that with the oh no, you said lockable per step. If you're talking about on the drums, no, for sure not. Yeah, because on the drums, you're only, if I'm not mistaken, what you're talking about, you're only on a drum track. You only have one, and it's for the all 24. That's where I think DB and a few other people were complaining. I think Ricky was talking about that they should have made each one be able to have its own. But if your kick is here, they all share the same one for that particular track. That's why you should put your kick, your snare, and everything on separate ones because that's just how you should do it. You got 8 of them. Now you probably won't even use 8 unless you're trying to do a masterpiece up in this joint. But I would just say put your kick on one, snare on one, hi-hat. That's what I do. It's easier to remember too when you look here. Plus, because I want to do different scales on my bars, I want to scale them different, or I want to set the grooves a little bit different. Maybe I want the hi-hats grooving harder than the snares or the kicks or whatever. You can do that but you can't do if you put them on this track, they all share the same groove. They all share the same. So just put your kick on one, snare on one, hi-hat on the other. Save yourself the headache. You got 8 of them now. So, and if you already own something else, like let's say you own, Koala, or you have another device or whatever that has multiple tracks. It's not like you're gonna run out of room or anything. You have plenty that you can do. I don't get half of the gear these days. We got Macs and Windows that do everything, but we can have something else that does everything. Wait, let me read that again. Maybe I misread it. I don't get half the gear these days. We got Macs and Windows that do everything, but we can have something else that does everything. I don't know if I understand that one, Ali. You got me on that one. Oh, they can't have something. Oh, I got you. Okay. Like this is a laptop without being a big screen. Yeah. And the iPad is still better. Yeah. Yeah. But it comes down to, do you want to touch a glass or do you want to touch some buttons? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. If you want to touch the glass, go for it. You know what I'm saying? And if you're okay with that, if you don't care and you're just okay with it, I get it. Like, I'm with you on it. I get it. I mean, yes, I have a MacBook. I could just do everything on the MacBook and be done. I don't need a controller. I don't even need this controller, to be honest with you. I could play it on the keyboard on the MacBook. But it comes down to, do you like gear? Do you like something that's different? You want to try something out that maybe inspires you in a different way. It's true. We could do it all on the iPad. I've made so many songs on the iPad. I made songs on the iPhone, which is why I didn't even have an iPad for a little while. But in the end, yeah, it just comes down to what you want. I mean, we're buying software that doesn't just do everything we want. It's crazy. This makes a good companion with the iPad, I think. You talking about this would be a great companion with the iPad. You know, with the iPad, if you go into like AUM, so let's close some of this out. We don't need all that. Let's just grab AUM. I mean, if you go in here, you could obviously. I don't even have it hooked up. That's why I'm like, why is it not seeing the? Okay, because like the P6 is like worthless, right? For me, I probably will get rid of it. I don't even know, because once I figured out, oh yeah, I could just do this on Koala, I was like, why do I need it? So it's true. We buy stuff that we don't really need. It's true. But anyway, so here you go. So here's the settings. You can see you have one channel, because obviously that's all you got is one channel. So in and out. So you could run your left, right into here, put effects on it. Let's do something crazy with some delay. I haven't messed with. Let me just throw some on. Run the song through. It's going to feedback. That's the only thing. Because But if you had headphones on and I wasn't playing it through this speaker here, so you get my point. You could use all your effects here and just have it record back in, or even use the effects just to color the sounds or whatever you want. Just like you could use Koala to, maybe play some parts or to sequence it if you don't want to sequence in here, or you could sequence in here and then have it go into song mode and record and have the song, however many bars you need it to play and do it that way. I mean, it's in the end, it's about whatever you want. Oh no, I know you're not dissing it. Yeah, we speaking truth. That's okay. I like truth. It's good. I mean, we buying. Let's see, this makes a good companion. Yep, that's true. I love the opioid. I'm not dissing it, but everything. Uh, we got a computer in it, just giving restrictions everywhere. Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the P6, man. It's got restrictions galore on the thing. I love it. It sounds cool, but the limitations on like how much sample time you have, and it's kind of, I think it's kind of whack in a way that they do it, but I'm not gonna say it's like not cool. It sounds good. Um, does it show multi-track USB out in AUM as a MIDI device on a MIDI AUM device? You said multi, hold on. That's not what I'm doing. What am I doing here? So I'll put in, what could I put in here? Chord pads. There it is. I could grab this mouse real quick so y'all can see the mouse maybe move. So right there, see? There's the OP. Here's the Bluetooth and this because I have them both. I forgot I had the Bluetooth connected. So yeah. So you could use it as a controller. You could use it. You got to find enough ways to use it to make it worth your while. I remember when I bought the OP1 Field, the limitation on that thing was like really bad. It would sound good. It would sound great, but it just was super bad on the limitations on it. And I was frustrated with it quickly because I was like, well, first of all, I need 8 tracks. Secondly, they actually added the velocity thing in. I mean, I don't know how much I griped about that, not be having a velocity. And it's still not the proper velocity, but it's okay, it works. So yeah, it's always something, man, to gripe about too. I know I do. Can I make this song on Koala? Absolutely. I can make it anywhere. I think it comes down to, again, what do you want? I'm not even saying 100% that I'm sold on it yet. I'm just saying for less, I'm about to be approaching in an hour. I'll hit a solid day with the thing. I'm impressed enough to say if they add some certain features into it, it'll be worth it. If they don't add those features into it, I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I wish they would give a timeline because then it would make it where it would kind of help you make a better decision. But unfortunately, they don't. Okay, so you asked about the multi. I did showed you that. I don't know if you're gonna get multi-track out on this thing at all. It's always gonna be one USB out, one in. Now, I did show you that on the side there is MIDI in and out and all that good stuff, MIDI sync, etc. But you're gonna have to either buy their mixer or buy a mixer that does allow multi out like that. But you're not gonna get it from here, unfortunately. If they add that in, then they lose $1,200 on some other device. Cheers, cool. Thanks. All right, man. Appreciate you. Time. I don't blame you if it was that. Appreciate you, Meerkat. Yeah. So, how many people we got in this room? I can't even see it. Looks like we got. I can't see. It looks like 6, maybe. Um. So I'm trying not to shake this camera here.
So yeah, any more questions? I'll be glad to answer them if I can. If I can't, then I'll let you know it's only been like a day, almost a day. We got an hour left before I hit a day on it. And I think it's cool. I think they know that they got to add some features for what they're charging. No question to ask. So I think you'll see that. Um, I could probably explore with this thing even more. I really wish they would add time stretch to samples, but then they got to have proper sample chopping too, because it wouldn't work if they don't. There'd be no purpose in doing that if they're not going to add sample chopping to it. So we'll just have to wait and see. I did not know they have a new update, so I will have to go look at that because I just updated this thing yesterday. So let's see. Hey, they do have a new update. Cool. Oh, they added a lot to it. He said it was like a couple things. They fixed the LF. Oh, he said fixes. Yeah, fix LFO on the MIDI only tracks. Jump component bug fixes. Good, because there was a few of those. Send pitch bin to link tracks. That's important. Don't send arpeggiator notes to link tracks. Handle invalid wave file headers better. Rename external MIDI. Reset drum LFO on note on. Fix the broken track scales. Fix record plus stop. Didn't clear parameter locks. Fix arpeggiator bug, freeze bug. You know what? I did get a freeze on that. Fixed pitch bend, calibration not saved properly. Fix parameter curves, ignore mute tracks. MIDI, oh, it's all fixes, I guess. MIDI echo setting was ignored for link. Sequencer bug fixes, that's good. Stability. You know what? Fixing stability stuff is, I gotta download this, but fixing that kind of stuff is important. So I'm looking forward to trying this out to see what it's gonna do. I mean, like how it's gonna get better. All right, so let's go back here, see what you guys are saying. Nobody's saying nothing. Tell you what, I'll do the update on live. Why not? Since we're here, I got like a few more minutes. We can do this now. Why not? So calm MTP allows me to put it on to the screen here. Let me get rid of that. It's supposed to allow me to put it on the screen, but it hadn't showed up yet. Oh, because I'm not hooked to the computer. Might be good to do that. Now we can try it. Okay. Try this out real quick. There we go. Got it. And then I forgot how to do this already. I just did it yesterday and I already forgot. That's terrible. Okay. Access the boot. Connect it. Press 1 on the device will show up as a mass storage. Put the new firmware. Okay, so yeah, it's not this. I'm tripping. Let me eject this. Okay, so we're gonna go hold down 1, turn it on. Turn it off again. Did I do this wrong again? I think I did it wrong. Connect it to the computer. I did do that. Press 1. The device will show up as a mass. Maybe I need to just do this. It did not show up. So we'll have to turn it off, try this again. Huh. Wow. Okay. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so I'm still here just trying to get this thing uploaded to see if it'll let me. For some reason, access TE boot connected to the computer. Press 1. Oh, you know what I think it is? I think it's COM, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. COM. Yeah, it's not showing up. I'm doing something wrong, I know, but I just can't remember now. All of a sudden. So that shows up for this, but not the... That's your presets. Goodness gracious. If anybody's in the chat, particularly... Let me see what's the chat on right now. Oh, it's just me and one other person. Whoever that might be. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and end this chat. I'll go ahead and figure out why I can't get the update going. Appreciate everybody stopping by. If you can hit the like on your way out, I appreciate that too. And until the next one, we're out.